Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Watch your thoughts. They become words. Watch your words. They become actions. Watch your actions. They become habits." That's what we're talking about in this series. Atomic habits. Atomic, little things, tiny habits that over time can make a big difference. Last week we said that, if you're taking off from LA in a plane and it's about 3.5 degrees off, you're headed to New York City, you're going to end up in Washington, D.C., right? Hundreds of miles off base. Our little habits done today will be 36 times more effective by the end of the year. Every day. You do a little habit every day, 36 times more effective. And if we do a so-called bad habit, an ineffective habit every day, it'll take us back to zero. How many of you are excited about doing a tiny good habit every single day? Say amen. Amen. All right. Got our Pentecostal audience in here this morning. So I'm excited about this series. Today we're looking at that first law, again, make it obvious. And we have a little sheet that we handed out to you. Those of you in the space, you have a sheet to fill out. And those of you online, click on the link in your chat. We're posting the link in the chat, and it'll take you to a page there. And there's a form you can either download the form or you can fill out the form online, but remember to hit submit at the bottom. Hit submit at the bottom and it'll get sent to you, all right? And there's instructions there. So click on the link. After you fill it out, you want to hit submit. You don't want to submit it before you fill it out, right? So there you go. There's instructions on there too. So I'd like you guys to take a moment now and write down 3 good habits that you would like to establish in your life. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we're going to force you to just write something down. All right? We're going to check your sheet as you go out today. I'm kidding. But let's go ahead now and take a moment and write down 3 good habits you would like to establish. And I would encourage you to make them as specific as you can. Instead of, I want to exercise more, maybe you can think of, I want to walk, or I want to go to the gym, or I want to run, or whatever, jump rope. I want to, what is it specifically? What is a good habit you want to do? I want to floss every day, Be specific. By the way, as you may know, I can be silly, so I don't really mean floss, right? We're all flossing. If we got teeth, we're flossing. If not, they're getting clean too, I bet. It's good to write it down. Get it out of the metaphysical, right? The metaphysical, the realm of ideas. Let's get esoteric now. In the mind of God, there are all these ideas that are waiting to flow forth through you in your life. And those ideas want to become manifest, form, right? So let's get them out of our heads, out of the ethers, and into the pencil or pen onto a piece of paper, because now it starts to become more real, more manifest. Now, somebody might have a fear of writing it down because, that's like a commitment, right? If I write it down, I might have to do it. Well, I don't want to waste my breath up here, so I hope you will write it down and want to do it, right? We don't want to waste your time either. This is practical spirituality, bringing forth the good in our life. So who would like to share one of their good habits? Anybody? Those of you online, if you want to post a good habit on the chat, please do. Someone in the space have a good habit? Yes.
I like to exercise my knee more.
Exercise your knee more. Good. That's very specific, isn't it? That's excellent. You see how just exercise more versus I want to exercise my knee more. That makes it more concrete, doesn't it? It's like more doable. I almost want to exercise my knee more after hearing it. Yes, I saw a hand over here. Yes.
Have more patience.
Okay, have more patience. Very good. All right. You want to be more patient. Excellent. Now, you might want to think about, is there a person in your life where you tend to lose your patience with? So to make it more specific, maybe it's somebody at work, maybe it's someone in your family, maybe it's somebody sitting next to you in the chair, who knows? But maybe make it more specific. You know, I want to be more patient with my whoever, right? Anybody else? Anything online, Stefan? Anybody posting good habits online? Keeping my body healthy. Okay, I would encourage you to be more specific of what eating, giving your body more nutrition, or exercising. Meditate at least once a day. Somebody wrote online. Yep. Keeping the house tidy by putting things away. Excellent. Yes.
Be in bed by 9.
Be in bed by 9. Awesome. That's very specific. Yes, in the back. I thought there was another hand in the back. No? Yes.
Stretch my back every day for 20 minutes.
Stretch your back every day for 20 minutes. That's great. Yes, in the back.
Write in my journal every morning.
Write in your journal every morning. Beautiful. Y'all are really zeroing in. Excellent. Well, patience with my daughter. There you go. Good. Good. All right. You got it started now. And today we're going to talk about the best way to start a good habit. How many of y'all excited about the best way of starting a good habit? Yes. All right. Good habits are important. First of all, recognize you're not your habits. Right? You're not your habits. You in there, how many of you are in there? You in there are not your thoughts, you're not your emotions, you're not your body, you're not your habits, you're not your behaviors. You have a brain, you have thoughts, you have emotions, you have a body, you have habits. You in there is far more transcendent than any other thing that you can mention. The Bible says, greater is he that is within me than he that is in the world. You in there are greater than anything in the world. You as a spiritual being are greater than anything in the world. You are bigger than the habits. Make sense? You're not your habits. You're the image of God. Now, in 2001, researchers took a group of about 248 people, and they wanted to help these people establish good habits over the next 2 weeks. So what they did was, the first group, they had them just note when they exercised over the next 2 weeks. The second group, the group they called the motivation group, they gave them some motivational literature about why it's good to exercise, and they gave them a little talk about how exercise is good to, helps prevent heart disease and it's good for your heart. Gave them a motivational talk. That's what they did. The third group, they asked them to write down what their behavior is the day they're going to do it, the time, and the location. You got it? That's on your sheet. We're going to get to that in a minute, so you don't have to remember that. But the bottom line is, last week we talked about cues. Cues, triggers for behavior. Time and location are two big triggers. What happened? The first group that noted, the first group and the second group, they all, about 35% of them, exercised at least once a week. It turns out the motivational group, it didn't really make much difference. The little talk, the literature, didn't make much difference. Group number 3 that wrote down the time, the location, 91% exercised at least once a week. That's a big difference. That's over double the difference. Hundreds of studies have shown that when you have what's called an implementation intention, that's what that is, a fancy word for intending to implement something. When you intend to implement something. So that's what that statement does. It gets you to be very clear what you're going to do, what time you're going to do it, what day you're going to do it, and where you're going to do it. And when you do that, the chances of you actually doing it go way up. Why? Because a lot of time it's not motivation that we need, it's clarity. It's clarity. It's clarity of, okay, what day, what time, where am I going to do this activity? Those little things can prevent us from moving forward. So what I'd like you to do now is look at your list of 3 good habits and circle one that you want to move forward with. You could say the most important one to you right now. Circle the one that you want, and I believe online you just fill in the blank of which one is your most important one. And now take that good habit. Did everyone write it down? Okay. Now take that one and you're going to fill out the second part on your sheet or online. I will put in your behavior. So those of you who said, be more patient, what does that look like? What is the behavior that would look? I'm not asking you to tell me, but you want to sort of think about what is that I want to be, listen better, or I don't know how you're going to put that in there. I want to be patient. Maybe just saying patient is enough. I will blank at what time are you going to do this? What time are you going to do the exercises for your knee? What time are you going to do back stretches? What time are you going to meditate? And where? Where are you going to do your knee exercises? I'm going to do them in my living room. I'm going to meditate in the corner of my bedroom. Where are you going to do your behavior? Very powerful exercise now. You're getting clear. You're getting clear. We're taking it out of the metaphysical realm of ideas and we're putting it down on paper with clarity. We talk about, you hear about the law of attraction, right? You attract what you think about. Well, the more clear you get about what it is that you want to attract, the more concrete it becomes, the more likely you're going to bring it forth. Does anybody want to share their implementation intention sentence?
I will exercise my knee.
I will exercise my knee
At 9 o'clock in the morning.
at 9 o'clock in the morning
In the living room and hallway.
in the living room and hallway. Okay, there you got 2 different exercises you need, one for the living room, one for the hallway.
The hallway means the stairwell. The hallway and the
Okay.
stepping up.
Very good. Very good. Excellent. Anybody online, write down if you want to share your intention statement. Anybody else? Yes.
write down my bills and deal with,
I will write down my bills
and deal with my finances
and deal with my finances
at home,
at home.
at my desk, in my bedroom at 5 a.m.
Okay, at my desk in my bedroom at 5 a.m. Excellent. It's amazing you can deal with anything at 5 a.m. Good for you. I call that eat that frog. You know, if you had to eat a frog first thing, if you had to eat a frog every day, you might as well get it over with, right? Eat it in the morning. Swallow that frog. All right. Anybody online sharing an intention statement? Anybody else in the space? Yes.
I will meditate
I will meditate
at 9 a.m.
at 9 a.m.
in my home office.
in my home office. All right, good. Now, how long are you going to meditate for?
20 minutes.
20 minutes. Write that down. How long are your knee exercises going to last?
About 25 minutes.
25 minutes, okay. Good. Specificity. Wow, I got that out. I will drink water on the hour, every hour, from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Okay. You want to say, you might even want to say how much water you're going to drink every hour. And what's the next one, Stefan? I will write for a half hour in my office Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at what time? 1 p.m. Good. You see how specific that is? Excellent. Very good. Now, we got to learn, is that really the best time to do it, right? If you got kids and you find that 1 p.m., they're home from school or whatever, or your business is really busy at 1 p.m., then you'll want to change, you'll want to shift that time maybe. Find a time that works for you, right? So, good. Anybody, I think I saw another hand in here. Yes?
I will pray or meditate
I will pray or meditate
at 8
at 8 a.m.
a.m. in my living room for 20 minutes.
in my living room for 20 minutes. Awesome. Very good. Hey, you guys took a major step, writing those habits down with clarity, intention, specificity. Let's give ourselves a big hand. All right, or a pat on the back, whatever. Right? Good for you. Excellent. Now you're that much closer to moving forward because you got clear. And you've sort of, that clarity's power. All right, now let's talk briefly about another implementation intention that you can utilize. All right, it's called habit stacking. Habit stacking. I'm reminded of the scripture from 1 Corinthians 14:40. Let all things be done decently and in order. So, habit stacking has to do with taking a good habit and sticking it in with other habits that you're already doing. Let me give you an example. After I'm making this off the top of my head. After I pour a cup of tea in the morning, I will meditate for 1 minute in the kitchen. You just put a habit in with some other habit you already have. After I pour a cup of tea, I'm going to meditate for 1 minute in the kitchen. You see that? The author of the Atomic Habits said, when I take a break for lunch, as soon as I close the laptop and take a break for lunch, I'm going to do 10 push-ups. Very specific. What habit could you, first of all, where could you stack a good habit in your life? I like to just note during the day when I'm living my day and thinking about good habits, like that's a good place to put a habit, you know? That's a good place to put it. There's a flow that's already happening for me. Like when I get up in the morning, I have little habits, right? We all have habits. They're cues. One cue leads to another. Let me just tell you a brief story that he tells. Dennis Diderot. Hundreds of years ago, his daughter was getting married. He didn't have enough money to pay for the wedding. The Empress of Russia, Catherine the Great, heard about his plight, and she was a big reader. And he had helped write the encyclopedia, an encyclopedia, which she enjoyed reading. So in her compassion for him, she offered to buy his entire library, which was the equivalent of $150,000 today. And not only that, she paid him an annual salary to manage her library. Wasn't that kind? So now, not only could he pay for his daughter's wedding, he had wealth. He had wealth. He acquired a scarlet robe. Now, he said, everything I had was out of place compared to my scarlet robe. My other clothes didn't look right. You know, the couch didn't look right. This didn't look right. It looked out of unity. It looked out of sync. So what happened? He started to buy expensive statues to put them in his house. He bought a new chair. He got rid of that straw chair and bought a leather chair. And he started to buy stuff in his house. Guess what? That became known as the Diderot effect. One thing that leads to another. We do it all the time. You buy a dress, what happens? Sometimes then you want to get matching earrings. You want shoes to go with the dress, right? One thing leads to another. It cues another. We're talking about cues, make it obvious, right? One thing cues another one. That's what we're trying to do with looking at habits. I mean, that's a well-known thing in sales. How many of you bought something online before, right? You buy something online and some shrewd salespeople, you'll get a pop-up of an item that's related to the item you just bought, right? If you've got this, well, then you're going to want this attachment, right? I did that not long ago. I bought a golf gadget. And then next thing you know, they're like, well, you'll want how to apply this to this part of your game. I'm like, yeah, you're right, I will want that part of my game. Now, instead of $69, I'm spending another $56, whatever it was, right? It's the Diderot effect. One thing leading to another. So we can do that with our habits, utilize that power with our habits. One thing leads to another. Here's how I've applied it recently. I apply it in many areas, but one is in the morning, I will go to the kitchen, drink some lemon water, take the dishes out, make the lemon water, etc. Then I'll do some yoga after going to the bathroom and all that stuff, washing the face and all that. I'll do some yoga postures or some exercises of some kind. And then I've had some physical therapy exercises that I wanted to start doing regularly. Guess what? That's a perfect place to plug it in. Because I'm already in the flow of doing yoga or energization or other kind of stretches. So it's a natural place to go, okay, let me do some of that physical therapy right now. One thing leads to another. And guess what happens? The Diderot effect. Eventually, when that becomes a habit, hopefully, you start to automatically feel the craving one thing cues you to the next, right? When I'm done doing the yoga postures or whatever, now automatically I get a cue, okay, time to do some of the physical therapy exercise. A cue. During my meditation time in the morning, I've started memorizing for the last couple months Yogananda's poem called Samadhi. An amazing poem. He wrote it to help people understand what does oneness feel like? What does it look like? And automatically I get a cue when I sit down to meditate after I do a little reading or whatever and do some other stuff. I automatically reach for that poem and we'll read a couple lines and begin to memorize it. You know, where can you stack some of your good habits that you want to develop? Make sense? So what I'd like you to do right now is write down, you did this last week. If you don't want to do it again, that's fine. If you can think of, you can write down, brainstorm some habits you do every day without fail. What are some things you do every day without fail? I brush my teeth, I wash my face, I, take a shower, whatever it is. And then the next part is, after I do this habit, then I'm going to do this habit. See what I mean? Stacking. Stacking. After I meditate, then I'm going to go to the treadmill for 20 minutes. I'm just making that up, right? It's stacking. After I go to the treadmill, then I'm going to read for 30 minutes. So go ahead and write down some habits you do every day without fail. So now under habit stacking, you see the sentence, after I, which is a current habit, after I brush my teeth, after I unload the dishwasher, after I whatever, take the dog for a walk, I will, what's the habit you want to establish? For marriage or a partnership. After I get in bed at night, I will give my spouse, my girlfriend, my boyfriend, my partner a kiss. You just stacked a kiss as part of a habit that you have every night, right? After I take off my work shoes, I will put on my gym clothes and go work out. You can pay attention to your daily activities and think about the good habits and think about where could this fit well. And you can stack a whole bunch of them. One thing can cue the next. After I eat breakfast, then I read for 30 minutes. After I read for 30 minutes, then I make a to-do list. And after I make the to-do list, then I do the first item on my to-do list. See, you can just stack a bunch of things together so that each one cues the next. And you don't have to think about it. It's a plan you've made in advance. This is a plan you've made in advance, an implementation intention, something you intend to implement in advance. You don't have to say, well, do I feel like writing today? When am I going to write? When should I exercise? Because you've already decided. After this happens, this happens. After this, then this happens. Now, we've talked about two different things today, right? We did the statement, an implementation intention, which is the best way to begin a new habit. We said, I will blank at blank in a certain location. That's one thing. Another way of using that implementation is to stack a good habit with other things. You see? They're not the same thing. They're different uses of the same principle. Make sense? Very powerful to get greater results in your life. Stacking. And I don't know about you, but after a while, I just enjoy it. I'm like, oh, that'll be great to put it here. And then it just starts to become a natural thing. After you do such and such, you'll start to feel, okay, it's time to meditate. It's time to work on my finances. It's time to whatever. Because you have started to set up cues to get you to take the next action. So anybody want to share a place you're going to stack something? Any questions? Yes.
So, you know the little trampolines, the rebounders?
Yeah, the rebounders, yeah.
So I said, as soon as I wake up,
As soon as I wake up,
I rebound for 1 minute.
I rebound for 1 minute.
I will read / study the Bible for 20 minutes.
Okay. So after I rebound for 1 minute, I will read, study the Bible for 20 minutes. Excellent. Excellent. Anybody else? So that's eventually you'll be rebounding and automatically, okay, let's study the Bible. Yes.
After I drink coffee,
After I drink coffee,
I will meditate for 15 minutes.
I will meditate for 15 minutes. Excellent. Okay, good. So now, instead of using the location and the time, as we did in the first exercise, you're using other already established habits. Coffee, drinking coffee may already be a habit for you, so let's stick it in there. Excellent. Eventually, you'll finish that cup of coffee and you'll know, okay, it's time to meditate. Yeah, good. Anybody else? Online? Any online? Okay. Anybody else in the space? Questions? Yes.
After I take a walk,
After I take a walk,
I will write in my diary.
I will write in my diary. Okay, good. Excellent. You take a walk every day?
Yes.
Excellent. See, you want to make sure that if you want to do this thing every day, then you're doing the other thing every day, right? If you're walking every day, then you want to put it there because you'll know you're going to do it. It's not going to help if you're not doing the walking, All right? Is this good or is this good? How many of you excited about moving forward with this? All right, let's stand up. Let's stand up. And let's stand up at home now. I see you sitting. Come on, let's get up. All right, so I want you to think of that good habit. We're talking about one habit, one tiny habit that you do regularly over time, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is going to make a big difference for you. A big difference. That's what we're talking about. Little things making a big difference over time.